Yeah, sorry.
Hello, everyone.
No.
Welcome to the Taney County Republicans.
I'd love to have a meeting after I get it done, and I can email you.
Sorry, Jerry, we're already started here. Welcome to the Taney County Republicans Branson meeting today on January the 17th. Got a lot of familiar faces in the room. Look forward to having a great meeting. So we're going to start it off though with Senator Hudson. Would you say a prayer for us? Be glad to.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us together here like this once again. Lord, you've been so good to us. The many blessings that you have bestowed upon us, far beyond what we could deserve, Lord. I pray that you would be with us in this meeting, that your hand would be upon everything that is said, everything that is done. May it be according to your will and for your glory. Please bless this meal in the hands that have prepared it. In Jesus' name. Amen.
So next we'll do the pledge, and I'll ask Representative Brian Sykes to lead us in the pledge. Let's go ahead and face the flag that direction. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. So, we got on our start here today. It's going to be a little bit different meeting. We're actually, even though the electricity went out this morning and I all gave my homework and everything like that, we finally got our website up and running, a new website. Now the old one was WordPress, and I make a long story short, it's good technology, but it's not mine. I don't like the way it runs. So this is actually, we purchased our domain through GoDaddy. And so that way I've got all these easy tools that just have a basically putting together, like a slideshow for Microsoft. It's super easy to do. You can build your own website in no time. So I highly suggest it if you're a rookie like me. Then we're going to go into, we've got a lot of county officers, state officers here. Come on in, sir. We never let a handsome young man like you stand out in the cold.
Oh my gosh. Breathe on.
And so what I want to do, and then also some announcements. So the reason we're going off on the website right now, and I rushed the finale this morning, Mayor Milton here in Branson was going to speak earlier today, and then earlier had to cancel a few days ago. So he's going to speak on February 21st, our next meeting here at Golden Crown, Branson. Of course, there's a municipal election coming up, but it doesn't look like to me that they have any running opponents at this time.
They're not. It's closed too.
It's closed, so it's
Yeah.
That's it.
So he's going to be our mayor for the next 2 years. Also got some awesome aldermen on there that's going to be alderman for another 2 years. So looking forward to the progress of Branson. Any other announcements by anybody else in the organization? Anything fun and exciting going on out there we need to know about?
There is a contested mayor's race in Forsyth, just for your information.
Contested mayor, that is absolutely correct.
How many candidates are running for that?
Me and her.
Wow. I think I can tell you what I'm putting my support behind.
Thank you very much.
So, and then actually,
The one that ran this area.
Julie, we'll get through this, and later if you want a chance to speak, you would most definitely can. And I'll let Julie tell you more about it. She's the expert and I'm not. So let's get started here. Let's get through the website real quick. I'm going to have it up here on TV screen. You can also look through your phone. TaneyCountyRepublicans.org. It's the art organization. We had the .com and I let it slip, and then they tried to hold me hostage on it. It's only way too much money. So heck with it. I'm letting it get back down to normal pricing and go buy a .com back so other people can't use it. So you will have to almost type it in directly, because that'll be the next step, is Keith and me doing the marketing and starting to get the SOE, the search engine optimization, SEO, that kind of stuff in the marketing department to get us up there. Right now, Facebook is actually the one that would come out if you just type in Taney County Republican, and we got to get our website up to the top. So there's a lot of people that put Taney and County and Republicans in their SOE stuff. So they keep, the chamber may do that on some of the pages. So anything to do with politics or stuff gets way ahead of us right now.
We also have a Rumble page under Taney County Republicans, because YouTube and Facebook, you never know what they're gonna do. Rumble, we actually set up an account, and I do try transferring a lot of our Facebook videos over to Rumble,
So we'll need to set up links and stuff, we'll go with that. Also on Facebook, of course, there's a link to Facebook and vice versa, there'll be a link from Facebook to our webpage, blah, 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 blah. We purchase memberships at our website. Or you can speak with Shane, he's got sign-up forms. Anybody that would like a membership, we'd really appreciate it. I'm not gonna harp on it, that's not my comfort zone. Daniel's who we need to get on the team, because he's good at campaigning for political.
I don't like asking people for money, that's why my candidates are always poor.
You're much like me, Dan.
We win, but they never have enough money.
So let's get started here. Let's look over here at the screen, or look on your phone. Let's go over the web page together. Guys, give me any suggestions. I am definitely open to constructive criticism. Well, of course, my little Chromebook went to sleep.
I purchase a membership and it says PayPal isn't working right now.
Okay, well, there we go. First, Keith, you got a note on that? So, and let's go to, easier for me to look here.
You can see my phone.
So if you actually go home, the PayPal,
Yeah.
because PayPal said they would put it in our account, because I didn't have time. Rhonda has all the banking information, so she's the treasurer. I don't have access to that, so I needed her to finish it. And they said they'd put it in like an escrow thing and then put it in our account when we finish, so apparently not. So this would be the home page, hopefully, that you first saw when you went to Taney County Republicans. Guys, any thoughts, comments, additions, deletions? Of course, this here is driving me crazy. I'm gonna see if we can get that out.
You won't.
You can't?
Can't.
Okay.
They have to approve it.
Well, seeing
Now,
that.
once they approve it, they don't have to do it every time typically.
Any other suggestions? And then, of course, on home, if you hit join us, whoops, Daisy.
Stanley,
No, I don't have a question. Yes, ma'am.
I've been in the Republican Party for a long time, and I just don't like that elephant.
Okay.
The reason why I don't is because the trunk is not going up. If you have the trunk with any part of it going down or sideways.
The one on the side here, is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
it's going this way, the tip of the trunk is going this way.
Going pretty up.
But
Oh, the tip she's talking about.
And we can
the tip.
modify that. That's actually our logo. Keith originated that and made it, so I mean, it's our logo. Now, I haven't copyrighted it yet, but that'll be a
And
good
the
idea
re-
down the road.
the reason why I say that is that it, according to Oriental bad luck, if the trunk is going down, your luck is running.
Right. Well, and there's things like, it
And
needs to
we don't
always,
want the trunk
right, it
going
needs to
up.
be looking to the right, you know, because we're right of the middle of the spectrum generally.
Exactly.
There's all kinds of little nuances that occur. Well, we've got that down. Thank you very much, Maria. Appreciate it. So when you hit the join us, it should take us over to the membership page. I put way too long a description in there, but I just don't want people confused, because you do have to have a membership to be a voting member, because we're going to have elections and presidents and vice and stuff, and so you will have to be a member to be able to vote. Now, you don't have to be a member to come to meetings. Come to all of them you want to, please. But it's one of those things, for us to be able to decide who runs the organization and things of that nature, I feel it should be paid membership. And
Will
we're
your
still,
membership be available online to see who is a member?
yes, and next month, I'm hoping at the
You
20.
gotta put that behind a secure wall.
Yeah,
Okay,
well, what
okay.
it'll be is this: if you request it, you send an email to me. If you need to know if you're on the list, I can get you a list. Now, as far as listing all the members, no, I don't
Okay,
feel,
perfect.
and the reason is the privacy.
Okay, that's
I don't
good.
like my crap out there. You know?
Okay.
And then I'm sure 90% of you wouldn't care if your name was on a page associated with Republicans, but
I would.
I-
Who associated with Republicans, no, but out to the public.
yes, exactly. There's no need for people to know, and if they want to know, I'll be more than happy to, people will show up. Yes, sir.
Do we have bylaws?
We do.
Okay, are
So
those gonna be listed, or are they gonna be accessible to the membership?
that's going to be decided, hopefully. So after this meeting, we've got enough members here of the board. So there's 3 board members and 4 officers. Kurt McDonald's a board member, Jerry Buckner's a board member, and Kelly Trimble. And for all reasons, he's not here today. I'm the president, Shane Keys is vice president, Rhonda is the secretary treasurer, and Keith is IT and marketing. So I don't vote, I just run the meeting when we have a board meeting. Okay, and it's three and three, that way if there is a tie, I'll break it, and that's the way that goes. But as far as the details, we're working on those. Jerry wants more time to look at a few things, because he helped put together some bylaws before for some of our city organizations. So we're gonna have a little meeting after this meeting to decide when the meeting is gonna be. And it should be done within this month, by February. Yes, I would like to put them on there, and I originally had them on there, and I took them off until we get it decided.
Is the election process for leadership in the bylaws?
It is. It is. Yep. That's one thing in the past. I don't know if you guys remember way when, it was one page, like a page and a quarter of the top of the next one. And the reason they done that is because they had left the Pachyderm Club and they were starting fresh. And so if you don't have it wrote down, then it's open to interpretation. Does that make sense? And that's a good idea, you know. But we're to a point and level now that we want to advance. You know, I'm wanting to get this thing rolling, and then I can see a day in my future when I'm not the president of this club. Somebody new comes in and they got their ideas, you know. But one thing we want to do is grow. That's this level from now until the 2026 election is growing, so we have more of an influence on the elections and things of that nature, and the issues. You know, the issues is where we got smoked this year. We done fine with candidates. Heck, I couldn't be more happy. But the issues were rough. There's a couple of them we should have won and we didn't. Any other questions? Daniel, did you have any other thing? I think it should be transparent. Any ideas from the general crowd for the board members?
Transparency goes a long way.
Say what?
Transparency and honesty goes a long way.
I have no problem putting them on there. I think it's a good idea.
Well, and I think that helps people understand, you know, how they could run for an office or position
Yes,
if they want to.
and it does have the whole detail in there.
Sure.
How to run for officer and everything.
I just remember Bob Hanselon was treasurer about 3 years past his death.
After he died.
Because he had passed away, and then they had never removed his name as the kind of the treasurer, the secretary, or something. And so
Right, and that was on that old website.
Yeah, cleaning it all up is nice to
Yeah.
move forward.
And see, what happened there is before I became aboard, this gentleman was hired that was local in Branson, but he went back home to Oklahoma. And he ran our website, and he actually paid for it.
That wasn't me, by the way.
No, no, not this guy. Not this guy. So, and that would be a thing there that would be on About Us.
So purchase,
So we hit About Us. Of course, we got Mr. Lincoln, our mission statement, and then this would be a good place here then to have the bylaws, and then the officers. Is that cool with you guys? I'll probably change the picture. We'll get a picture of all the officers together somehow. Motley crew that it is. Someone had a question back on membership.
you said that PayPal wasn't working?
Well, apparently not.
No,
Let's go and see when I hit purchase.
It'll give you an error on PayPal.
So what the deal was is this morning, like I said, I couldn't get it completed because Rhonda's the financial officer. So she's gotta finish that step. Yes, sir.
You know, on the membership, are you gonna put on there the different types of membership, like
Yeah.
1 year, 4 years?
Yeah, that's all on.
So, let me go back here and so what the deal is, I did have it all, it still is, all listed up here. But then when you go down through them, there's only 4 of them that you can actually buy online. We can only do so much. Or you gotta pay more and more money for more pay links and, you know, so I'm trying to keep it to a minimum. So you can do the 1 year at $35, the 2 year at $60, the 4 year for $100, or then the lifetime is what they have. Oh, and that's right. I had to find a couples holding hands. And then $750 for a lifetime for 2. And
Are you with it? Were we?
now you guys
It's nice to
are.
have local pictures on there so people recognize, I think.
Well,
that's
like I
right.
said, this is
All
getting it
new, I
together
know.
today.
So, okay, I'm gonna be dumb and I'm gonna step out here. What is, non-resident membership is available for those residing outside of Taney County.
Billy Long. You don't know him.
Oh, I do too. I know who you're talking about. So he could be a member and he could donate money. He just can't vote because he doesn't live here.
Correct.
He can send us money. That's basically why we're doing that.
And he can be on the email list, because I'm thinking about
Gotcha.
honestly starting to whittle that down, that, you know, in a way to kind of get people to stay on track.
Well, not just Billy Long, but Eric Burleson,
I
and
was
Eric
gonna say,
Schmidt,
yeah.
and Josh Hawley, and hey.
Billy just come to mind because now he's fumbling through my taxes, so.
Okay.
But elected people don't have to pay to attend, right?
No. If you, no one has to pay to attend. We're
Right.
welcome for anyone to come in anytime,
Okay.
honestly. We have worked out, and I'm just more transparency, we've worked out a very good relationship here with Golden Corral, so we don't have to pay for a room. You know, a lot of places try to charge us, you know, and now after we got established with them for a while, I'm sure they would drop the charge or minimize it, but just getting that established with a new place.
And same thing at Oaxaca,
Mhm.
we don't pay for that.
Nope. And there's a secondary reason that I like Oaxaca. We've talked about it many times in here. You know, Ronald Reagan, you know, really helped the Republican Party get the whole Cuban vote. And as Republicans, we've been portrayed everything from being racist to this and that, you know. I have worked with so many foreign people that are now Americans. I could just run into a guy the other day, and I'll never forget whenever he went up and got his naturalization, took his test, all that. He was so excited. You've never seen anyone so excited in your life. I mean, he was just literally foaming at the mouth to become an American, and it was awesome. He drove straight down afterwards, and me and him visited, and I gave him a big hug. And so it gives us also, because those guys in there working in that kitchen, they believe a lot like we do. You know, I've spoke with the manager numerous times. They believe like us, you know, so that's one thing I hate to lose any section of our society. This party's got the big tent. Let's drag everybody under it. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And my rally year before last, I had hired an interpreter to come in, a Spanish-speaking interpreter, and I had some flyers made up in Spanish and so forth, and went to the various restaurants and the business owners and things. Not many people showed up, but they knew I reached out to them, so I knew I got a huge percentage of their votes. And I asked one of the business owners, where are all your employees? You guys said you're in favor? He said, we're all working. So this community of people, especially the Hispanic people in this area, are working. They're
Yes.
doing jobs that maybe some of us won't want to take, and they're roofing and things like that. So it's a community that we as Republicans cannot afford to ignore, because it's going to become a good percentage of a possible voting block, and we don't want them going the other direction. So I think it's wholly appropriate that we reach out to them.
When I was at a
Absolutely.
Trump rally, you would not have believed how many Latinos for Trump signs there were. That was a huge support for him, because he looks at the working person like we do.
We need to find a way to get our meetings to reach to the younger crowd. I have 3 employees under the age of 22 that are staunch Republicans.
Right. And we had a meeting a year or so ago with Daniel that spoke to us on Zoom about that. That's something I've been wanting to do for years. And that was the original part of our mission, you know, back when C of O and college Republicans and this and that. You know, there's a lot of things. We want to get back to that. We've got to, I mean, who's going to replace us, folks?
Yep.
Exactly.
We've got to get the younger folks. Daniel has went through this, you know what I'm saying, and he is in that zone. He could be very beneficial to us. He gave us some wonderful ideas, and this is the start. We got to get an online presence. You got to get a social media presence. You got to have things that they connect to, and topics they connect to as well. Am I wrong, Daniel?
What is your role, Daniel, in the state, separating from what you do for Brad?
So-
Arch and Evansville, what's your role in the state?
Well, I'm about to be on the state board of Young Republicans here in Missouri. I refounded Young Republicans in Oklahoma and served as national committee. And I'm about to be bylaws chair of the National Young Republican Federation. So I'm in it for Young Republicans. Thank you. The key would be, and I tell this to Republican women groups all over the place all the time, the key to getting young people involved is not to just say, come be involved and learn from us. Because especially when we look at young people not being, 17, 18, 19-year-olds, we look at young people being, 18 to 40.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting young professionals who are at times CEOs of their own business and, vice presidents of chambers of commerce and things like that. So you can't pat them on the head, give them a pizza party and say, hey, will you make phone calls for the Republicans? They want a little bit of buy-in. They want leadership. And what I always say when I'm speaking to young professional groups and young Republican groups, I say, we're not the leaders of tomorrow. We're also the leaders of today. The tendency with Republican groups, and this is going to be a little look in the mirror moment.
No, I already know.
That we have a tendency to tell young people to wait their turn, or you need to learn a little bit more before you come in with your ideas. The reason that young people's ideas have shifted more to the left is because if I walk into a Democrat county office or something right now and I say, hey, I want to be involved or whatever, they say, oh great, we'll make you the director of grassroots engagement or something. It costs them no money to do that, and it's a title that means almost nothing. And what are they doing? They're making phone calls and eating pizza.
Right.
But they're one of the directors of grassroots engagement. Well, that's great for that young person to put on a resume when they're going to get a job somewhere else or they're trying to build up their portfolio, because they can say, I was the director of grassroots engagement for this organization for this period of time. Handing out, and I understand, and people have told me, people who are a lot older and sometimes wiser than me, that it's not all about titles. And I agree. And 50 years ago, there was a lot more altruism than there is now. There were a lot more people who were in it for the good of the everything and wanted to volunteer. And we have a more selfish society. For good or ill, that's the nature of it. And young people don't want to spend their time doing something for free if they can't find a way to monetize it later. So part of the way that we can get people involved is when we bring them in to give them titles, to give them opportunity, and to give them responsibility. There's no reason that somebody over the age of 45, no offense, should be running social media pages. It shouldn't be happening.
Yeah,
Why?
right.
Because the young people understand their way around Canva faster. They can create graphics at an amazing click. They know where to share things. They don't need to be told a lot of times how to run things. I run campaigns on the side too. I know exactly what to do quickly to get the message that I need out there in 5 minutes to hundreds of thousands of people. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to work on it. I know it because I grew up with it. And so utilizing those abilities that they have, understanding weaknesses that we might have and strengths that they might have, celebrating that, and then giving them titles. Titles are great. Titles are free to pass out, and they can mean the world to the people that get them, especially young people, is a way to get people involved and get them more active, because they don't want to walk in. If a blue-haired person walked in right now and they had a ring in their nose, chances are good that they'd get some weird looks from the people in this room. I'm not saying you're judgmental or you're rude or anything, but I'd probably give them a weird look. But maybe that person's pro-life. Maybe that person wants lower taxes. Maybe that person wants smaller government and less regulation. And we have no idea because we're looking at them thinking that they don't fit into the box that we want them to fit into. We can get them in. Maybe they only agree on 7 out of our 10 core values, but that makes them our 70% ally, not our 30% enemy. So we can't keep snatching defeat from the jaws of victory when it comes to getting young people. The 18 to 20-year-olds now are the most pro-life generation since Roe. They absolutely are. They've grown up, they see abortion for what it is, and they are not going left immediately. They move left because we don't provide them a space where they can express ideas that are different than ours on other issues. So then they tend to move left on everything because they feel more comfortable in those rooms. So we've got to make young people feel good in here. We can't have a young person walk in here and immediately feel like all eyes are on them and so what are you doing here?
So Daniel, would you be willing to maybe give a little free counsel to the board members and the officers whenever we have our meeting?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd love to help reach out. Kurt just said, because Kurt and I mean, when I took over Young Republicans, he was a sponsor. I think they might have had 2 members when I walked up to the table day, and I shook their hands and I said, I'm your new president. I was arrogant, and Kurt knows that.
Where does that come
and it was
from?
difficult, and it was difficult to deal with me at times. But we did grow the group during our work together there, and we got people involved. We made them excited about Republican politics. So finding ways to do that again, I know that they've fallen off at College of the Ozarks with the College Republicans over there. But how does that make sense? We have 1,500 conservatives who are down the street, and then we have all the ones that are at School of the Ozarks, and we have Legacy Christian Academy, and we have all this area in Branson. They should all be conservative. Most of them are conservative.
Well,
so why aren't they here?
Yeah, their core values at the college are more aligned with us, this group, than the other side.
Right.
And it's just a matter of, bringing them on and giving them accountability.
Right.
Not only responsibility, the accountability for, you know.
We have the ROTC program. Just working with Foresight on a thing, couple of weeks ago. And their young ROTC program, it's a Marine Corps one, which is very rare in this country, but they're all patriots.
I would assume that many people in this room consider themselves part of the Reagan youth in the late 70s and early 80s. You didn't start the Reagan youth when you were 45. You went in and you took it. And you said, we're the Reagan youth, and we're coming in, and we're going to be leaders, and we're going to reshape the way that this country is. Well, the Trump campaign and the Trump organization has done a great job of that over the last 8 to 12 years of bringing people in, and they're 6 to 8 years, of bringing people in and saying, we want you involved, Turning Point USA. I don't agree with all of the tactics of Turning Point stuff, but I don't need to, because they are good at bringing young people in and doing what I said. They give them title, they give them responsibility, and they say, go out and do, upset the apple cart, go and be change makers. And so I think that we need to find a way to, listen, I loved coming here when I was in college. I was 18 years old. I came over here. I was on the board of directors for the Taney County Republicans as the College of the Ozarks representative, because we had a board position for a College of the Ozarks representative. And I enjoyed being in the room with the older people because I always found more camaraderie there. I didn't necessarily feel like I was, you know.
And I think that's part of it too, and then we're gonna have to move on, Daniel, is we assume the younger folks don't think like us. Right. You know, I have met so many young people between 20 and 30 that we have the same core values. Right. You just got to give them a chance and let them open up. Sometimes they're afraid to open up because they've been bashed before.
Yeah, we have to communicate without being condescending. And that's really what we're trying.
And Keith, you're only 44, so your social media.
Marketing.
Celebrate the 50th anniversary of my 44th birthday.
Someone doesn't look like you, they look different, doesn't mean that they're.
Absolutely. And Monica was throwing in about what you mentioned earlier, the looks, where we're so, and it's just part of the way we're made up. You know, I got a degree in psychology, so I know a little bit about this. We just automatically, you know, from your youth up, and then you look at a picture of something on a screen. They do this all the time with criminals and this and that, and throw people. We're judgmental at that first glance, but it takes a second for our cognitive abilities to take over and our thinking part to take over to get rid of those basic instincts. So we just got to do that. And I have met some people that I never would have thought would have been a Republican, and they are, you know.
Well, and I think, you know, my son, he's 35, he looks at it. When they announced J.D. Vance, he was excited, because he looked at me and he goes, Dad, I'm not trying to be condescending, but it's somebody without gray hair for once that is literally moved up the chain and will run for president. And he goes, he was excited, and then as you talk to him and his friends, I was out with a group of 20 of them on Halloween night, trick-or-treating with their families. They were all excited about it. And I'm like, the Republican Party has done something they haven't done in a couple of generations, right? They've blown the sides off the tent. It's just a big open canopy now, right? Everybody's welcome. These young ones are seeing it, they're coming in. I'm closing down Monday at 10 o'clock, and I'm bringing everybody into the office. We'll put the inauguration on the TV, we'll buy pizza. And like I said, I got a whole group of young, they're 20, 21 years old. So we're making them part of it.
And you do know that all of the ceremonies and things are inside now?
Yeah, they'll still broadcast it on TV, so yeah, but it will be, you know, again, they're excited, I'm gonna foster them, you know?
And I think of this because I live in big cities and different places. We are the training ground for conservative values. We need to raise these kids up and make sure they know what they understand and believe it, because we're sending them out into the world.
Well, and there's a movement, the 42nd Ward in Chicago went for Trump.
Yeah.
You know the last time a ward in Chicago went for any Republican? Not in our lifetime. So there's a movement happening.
It's not just political, it's spiritual. It kind
Yep.
of blends together, and we are seeing that happening in our country.
Yep.
Well, guys, we're going to move on then, and so that part of the program, the presentation's over. We're going to have a board meeting. Keith and I divide our age, and we're still probably over the limit, according to Daniel. We're going to try to get this, the social media, the website, all organized and stuff. We're also in the future going to do something that I think helps everybody of any age category. We're going to have one of the meetings during the month. We'll be hand out our membership certificates. You know, we got really, really super nice certificates and frames. Shane, I put one out of mock, what do you know of Rhonda? He's like, hold on, I didn't get one of those, because they look really good, something you can hang, and recognize people. We want you to know that you're part of the Taney County Republicans, so some little ideas like that. Well, we're gonna move on now. We're gonna move on to our local office holders, and if you guys just wanna stay up front there, that'll be fine. I'm gonna get the camera all arranged for that. Senator Hudson, I think you're the top of the cream of the crop today. Now that you've moved on up to senator, I won't get the battle between you and Brian and flip coins. And
I don't have it, I'm digesting it.
come on
Well,
up,
I'll
Mr.
tell you, some people call the Senate the upper chamber. I don't use that. You want me standing
Yeah, it'd
up
be
there?
great. I think I can get you good
All
there.
right. I don't use that. You, Brian. Brian is an equal to me. We are working together on both sides of the building to get good stuff done. And I'm honored to be working with Representative Seitz and all my colleagues in the House and the Senate. What an honor it is to be your state senator. It's just kind of sinking in. We've had a lot of ceremony, a lot of stuff happening the last couple of weeks. A lot of friends have been coming up to the Capitol. Thank you to those of you that have been able to come up and say hi. If you haven't, and you get the chance, please drop by and see us. We would love to have you. So it seemed like right after the inaugural ball, our office started getting busy. Daniel can tell you, we had them lined up there out in the staff area to come see us. So we are going to be a busy office. We're going to have a lot of stuff to do, and I'm excited about that. Committee appointments came out. This was huge for us. I get to vice chair 2 committees, and I got a seat on the Appropriations Committee. I'm only aware of one other freshman Republican senator that has 2 vice chairmanships and a seat on Appropriations. So this is big. And it is going to be an honor to serve in this capacity. We're going to be really busy, but I've got a great staff that can handle it, and we're going to work together as a team. The 2 committees that I vice chair, one, I'm going to vice chair Education. That's a big committee. Let's do something about DESE. Let's do something about this woke curriculum that is trying to permeate many of our schools in the state of Missouri. And we got great schools around in this area, but some of this stuff is coming closer to home. And just about anyone you talk to, regardless of what political side that they are on, they'll tell you that DESE, at the very least, needs some reform. I'd like to see some of that happen. I'm going to vice chair the Government Efficiency Committee. This is DOGE, basically. This is the Missouri Senate version of DOGE. We're already talking about some stuff that we can do. The Legislative Office of Fiscal Transparency is something that we have discussed. It's not a new idea to Missouri. I think there's another state, Oklahoma has one, don't they? This is a good idea that's coming out of Oklahoma. It is something that we can do here in Missouri to help make our state departments more accountable and fiscally responsible. Probably no one in this room, probably none of you, certainly very few of you, if any, would say that Illinois is a good example of fiscal responsibility. What if I told you that Illinois spends about the same amount of money that we do, and they got twice as many people? That's not acceptable, folks. Not when you are a Republican supermajority. Not when you have 2 bodies of the legislature almost filled with people that campaigned on fiscal transparency and fiscal accountability. I am so excited to be vice chair of Government Efficiency. That's going to be a committee. It's not just going to be a title. We're going to get some stuff done. So I'm also on the Family, Seniors, and Health Committee. I think we can see some good stuff to come through that committee. As you all know, I'm protecting kids has been something that I've been involved in for years. I'm hoping to see some legislation I've introduced to that end come through that committee. That's what I'm hoping for. As a matter of fact, referrals happen, and I think my removing the sunset from the SAFE Act bill got referred to that committee. So that's a great track there. And again, I mentioned the Appropriations Committee. This is big for so many reasons. Really, if there's only one thing we're constitutionally required to do in Jefferson City this year, we have to pass a balanced budget. We have to. If Brian and I do nothing else, we have to do that. And so this will give me the opportunity to have the budgets of all of the state departments before me. I'm going to take the experience that I had on the House Budget Committee. I'm going to use that to advocate for you and your priorities and the things that I said on the campaign trail. You know, I said on the campaign trail over and over, the Missouri Senate is where good legislation goes to either be watered down or to die. And I told you that I'm going to try to change that. And so far we are. Things are looking much better. We are going to get some stuff done this year. We're going to work with our colleagues in the House. We're going to make you proud. I am so honored to be your senator. God bless each and every one of you. Are there any questions for me?
How about AP? You're gonna reintroduce AP?
I didn't hear.
IP reform?
Oh yeah, IP reform. We absolutely need to work on the IP reform issue. Here's where we are. We have abortion in our Constitution right now in Missouri. We need to remove that. We need to do what we can to get rid of that, because that does not accurately reflect the majority of Missourians. I do not believe, because if you look at that campaign, if you look at the dollars that were spent, if you look at the misinformation that was out there, there are folks that were told things that were untrue about that. We do need to protect Missouri's Constitution. We do not need to make it harder to remove abortion from Missouri's Constitution. So those two things must go together. Initiative petition reform and getting rid of Amendment 3, or at the very least reforming it to save as many lives as possible. Those two things are both a priority of mine. Any other questions for me?
Precious metal, gold and silver.
Yep,
Monetary.
gold and silver. I think I co-sponsored that in House, and that has been introduced both in the House and in the Senate. It's good legislation. It's good legislation. Anything else?
Thank you, Senator.
Thanks for giving me the time. You're up.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to go second because we can't really follow that. But I appreciate the opportunity to work with Senator Hudson. We're gonna make a great team in the Capitol. I'm not gonna run all of his legislation. He's not gonna run all of mine, but we have the same mindset as far as getting things done for this area and the conservative agenda that we both agree on. Monica heard my spiel before the Taney County Partnership involving chamber officials and yada yada this morning. She'll hear a different spiel now because I'm talking in-house, I'm talking to the Republicans, so I want to let you know what we're going to be doing in the Capitol this year. To start off with, I've been renamed the chairman of the Special Committee on Tourism. Brad, were you there 4 years or were you 2 as chair?
I was two as chair of tourism, then I moved to chair at Eco Devo after that. So
Okay.
I think it was 2.
All right, so I think because Jeff Justice was chair of tourism prior, or at
Yes.
least he was at one point in
Yeah, he
time.
was
It's
before.
kind of unprecedented to get 4 years as a chair of tourism. I don't know if it's ever happened before. I've been fighting for that for the past year. They were attempting to put someone from Kansas City in there because the World Cup is coming to Kansas City. And to have to fight to be tourism chairman when you're from Branson is kind of odd. But the speaker gave me that again, so I can do some real good work there. I'm also a member of the Commerce Committee, which will help to bring big business and small business and provide for economic development within all of our districts. So that's a newly formed committee, the Commerce Committee. I'm still on veterans. I advocated for chair or vice chair, didn't get that, but that's okay. I'm still on the Veterans Committee, so as we know here in Branson, veterans are tops, and we have the greatest veterans gathering and so forth in the state, maybe the country. So I'm also on crime prevention and public safety. Again, so those are my 4 committees. I'm part of 14 House members out of 160 whatever of us, 14 House members that are working to chip away at Amendment number 3. None of us in this room wanted Amendment 3 to pass, especially not only harming infants in the womb, but it harms women through it, does not allow them to sue. If the abortion is botched or they're harmed or something, there's nothing that they can do. There's no recourse. That needs to be changed. I'm looking at changing or looking at redefining what's in Amendment 3. What is fetal viability? Fetal viability, to me, life begins at conception, that's no doubt, but definitely when there is a heartbeat. I believe it's human life before, but if you have a heartbeat, you're alive. You're a living human being. So a lot of what we discussed yesterday in that 14-member working group. If I said committee, I back it off. It's not a committee, it's a working group. Was how to redefine terms. What is reproductive health care? What does that entail? What is fetal viability? When does that begin? It's not when the baby's head is crowning as it's coming out. That's not fetal viability. So we're gonna be working really hard on that. Some of the bills, I've got 17 of them running. I'm not giving you all, but some that might affect us and the state. No tax on tips. I thought of it before Donald Trump did. I think I filed it. Obviously, he's not president yet. No tax on tips. I'm tired of going into restaurants. I eat here. I'm eating here again tonight. I eat here most often. But going into restaurants and seeing whole sections blocked off and there's a 45-minute wait at the door, they can't get people to cook. They can't get people to wait tables and so forth. This would bring more people locally into that, what we would consider an industry. I waited tables at Bass Pro for 2 years while I was in college. I would have rather not had to declare, that amount of money to the government and so forth, and have the state take away some of my hard-earned money that I worked the tables for. So no tax on tips. I mentioned this before, tax-free bingo cards. I played fake bingo like in school or whatever. I've never played real bingo. I'm the executive committee of the Lions Club, but they do a lot of good locally with the money that they raise. It all is pumped back into the community or into the state. There's nothing selfish about what they do. I don't know why in 1776 this was not thrown overboard with the rest of the tea, but it wasn't. Taxing the paper that bingo cards are made out of. Ridiculous. Divestment of foreign entities, divestment of monies, statewide vote on taxes. This is anything, I filed this before, any state tax issue, whether it be gas tax that we voted down 3 times in a row, that involves the state, should go before a vote of the people. The people should control their ability or lack thereof to be taxed.
What would you have to pass 2/3? One hand?
I'll have to read this again. I refiled it from last year, and I've been focused on the Amendment 3 stuff, so I haven't looked at this again, but I did file it. Removing the sunset on athletes, men that pretend to be women and run against our granddaughter in track meet or something like that. The Speaker of the House texted me, he's all on board to remove that sunset, to protect our daughters and maybe in some cases our sons from unfair competition, and keep the playing field level where girls compete against girls and guys compete against guys. And if you want to be on an intramural league or something, go ahead, it's fair. But statute of limitations increase for adult child sexual abuse survivors. I'm running that again, but it's a lot stronger this time. I'm running 3 different bills, including something that could be put into our Constitution, ex post facto laws that say you cannot retroactively go after someone. Say, I'll use slavery as an example. Slavery was once the common law in the United States. Once it was outlawed, you couldn't go after the former slave leader. As evil as that institution was, you couldn't go after them from doing what was commonly in practice in certain states at that time. I would like to remove that ability for child sexual abuse cases. I think retroactivity is important because particularly for males, it takes up till age 55, that's been proven psychologically, scientifically, and so forth, to really understand what happened to you as a child. And I had so many witnesses coming forward, both men and women, that they didn't come to terms about that horrific activity until they were much older. We need to allow people to go after those villains who did that sort of thing. So I'm running that. The 3 big bills on Amendment 3. Fetal heartbeat bill, we talked about that, running that. A personhood bill, I don't know how far this is going to go, but I'd love for it to be this way. Declaring the infant in the womb to be a human person upon conception, the Born Alive Protection Act. If the abortive process does not work and the baby's alive and they're breathing, the doctor should have to do everything he can to protect and support that human life. So the Born Alive Protection Act, this is a HJR, House Joint Resolution on the heartbeat bill. So I'm still at the tip of the spear as far as that issue goes, because all the other laws and all the other things we do in the House and the Senate mean nothing if you're not alive. Absolutely nothing. So we need to protect that innocent life in the womb. I don't know that Amendment 3 can be repealed. I've heard the Senate is working on that sort of language, but if it can't be, I want to chip away at the edges to provide protection for women and the baby. So that's it. Any comments, concerns? Yep.
Thank you,
Covered it. Thank you. Yeah, I'm incredibly busy. I apologize to those that came up to the Capitol that I did not. I had people drive 3 hours and want to come to my office and see me. No time, busy.
Sheriff Daniels.
Hey, I don't have a whole lot. I just want to mention that, just this week, we've wrapped up our, 2025 budget. Got a couple additions in there that I feel like they're worth mentioning. Remember 4 years ago, we added 2 narcotics officers. They started off making a lot of small cases and then kind of worked into bigger cases. And as they've done that, their cases that they're working are taking longer. So, they're doing a lot bigger cases and having a bigger impact, but they don't have time to work on some of the smaller stuff. So we've added a couple officers. We're gonna refer to them as a street crimes, position. They're gonna work on smaller narcotic stuff, doing knock and talks, following up on some maybe smaller narcotics tips, as well as, maybe warrant fugitive apprehension. If we get people that we're looking for, we're having a hard time, they're not gonna be subject to calls, so they can focus all their time on that type of stuff. So I think that's gonna be very beneficial. Another thing is sexual compliance officers. Some counties, it's sexual offender compliance officer. Some counties don't have anybody that goes out and follows up if somebody is on the offender registry. And we have for years, if somebody comes in and registers, we send somebody out afterwards to verify that they're actually at their address. But there's a lot of laws that are tied into that I feel like it's kind of like a surgeon. If you're going in for a heart surgery, you're not going to go to a knee surgeon. You know, they specialize in what they're doing, and it's not one of those things that a lot of officers know a lot about. And so I had one officer that's kind of taken an interest in this, and he put a proposal together to me, and I took that to the commission, and they approved it. So he's pretty knowledgeable. You know, he will do things such as follow up beyond just going and doing the address checks, making sure that the subjects don't have social media pages if the tier that they're on doesn't allow them to have that. And then he will forward charges to the prosecutor, you know, for all sorts of other things. And I think that's pretty important for the safety of the community. The other stuff is, we don't really have anything else that's really, you know, big. It's just more vehicles and, you know, replacing the equipment that we have. It's getting more out. Yes, sir.
What's going on with the drug? Taney County used to be, you know, methamphetamine capital Missouri or whatever. Had that moniker. Is that, how are, you know, the drug?
It's a serious problem. You know, it's everywhere.
Are you making headways?
I don't know. It seems like, I don't want to say we're never going to make headway, but it seems like if we bust one dealer, then 2 more pop up. Now it's not so much methamphetamine. We still see some of that, but it's heroin and fentanyl. A lot of it coming from, you know, straight from Mexico. They have tracked some coming directly from the border.
Another question is Narcon, which is a, you know, will there ever be a time where there'll be something in a budget, your budget, that, you know, the public might be able to get the Narcon?
Not as long as we stay on the same track that we're on right now.
All your officers have it.
Right now it's provided to the public. We have a Noxalone lockbox in our, and the reason I say that is because we're not paying for it, so I don't have to budget for it. We receive it through grant funding.
So how would we get it?
Well, you can walk into the lobby 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and when you walk in the lobby, turn to the right, there's a little box on the wall, you pull the box out of it, and go on your way.
I mean, I'm just almost ashamed to say that.
We have,
That's almost getting to be like having a first aid kit.
it is. It is. For years, we've had it available, during business hours, you can go in to the front lobby and ask for it, and, they've got some in the back, but probably 6 or 8 months ago, through help from Marietta Hagan, I don't know if you know Marietta, she works for, Cox. She got a grant, and, we've got that box put up there now, so.
Good to know.
Yes, ma'am.
I can't take a lot of medicine, or a lot of, and I guess I'm allergic to hydrocodone and oxycodone. There isn't much left to get besides narcotics. Well, when I was gonna go in for heart surgery, or not heart surgery, that was great, but my back surgery, they gave me a medicine that I had to, take for pain. But I also had to sign a contract that I wasn't gonna do anything wrong with this. I wasn't gonna sell it on the open market. But then I had to sign another contract to say that I was gonna get the Narcan. And that Narcan cost me $40, along with everything else that I had to take. And I don't think that's fair.
Well, right, I would agree with that, because there are several places in the community that you can get it for free.
Well, they certainly didn't tell me about
But,
that.
I mean, that's pretty typical, if you go to a doctor's office and they're not gonna tell you where you can get it for free if they can sell it to you and make a buck. But, we're not the only place. I think you can go to the health department there on Bee Creek Road. I think they have it available there. There's several different places where you can get it for free these days.
Well, then maybe the doctors should be able to let the patients know that they can do it if they wanna go,
Right.
go get it. But I didn't really think that was fair for me. I haven't taken one pill, but I still have my full prescription and I have my Narcan.
We have a box in the sheriff's department where you can dispose of that.
I was gonna say that.
Hey, I've had heart surgery since then. I don't know.
Right.
I keep
Any
a
other
close eye
questions?
on her, she keeps those pills locked up.
Any other questions?
So with the fentanyl, is it coming in through illegals? And how's the illegal situation?
It's getting across the border through illegals, but, I'll be honest with you, I went to a class last year that was kinda eye-opening. I guess they're using, social media, Twitter, and, those apps, and just putting out an ad, and, young people are seeing that, and they're going to, Arizona and Texas,
Oh, yeah.
picking up a car that they're just told to go to this parking lot and pick up this car, and they're driving to wherever their target area is, and they're getting paid. And so you have young kids that don't really, obviously, in my mind, they have to be somewhat aware of what they're doing, but they're not your typical drug traffickers, they're not hardened criminals, they're just kids that need some cash, and they're falling victim to that. But it is coming across from illegals, but then it's being distributed by everybody, unfortunately.
Illegal situation in Taney?
We have a lot of them. We can't get anybody, if we
Soon.
deal with them, can't get anybody to come get them, so. Anything else?
Thank you, Sheriff Daniels. Commissioner Flynn, you wanna come up and?
Thank you all so much for allowing me to be here today. I don't get to make it over here real regular. Usually Sheila or Trevor would be here. So just finishing my second year with the commission. Really excited for 2025 coming up. Welcoming our new Eastern District Commissioner Shane Keys. I know you all know that. Really excited to look forward and work with him this year. It is really nice at our level, at the county level, having the relationships with Brian and Brad and now Matthew Overcast. These are the people that will answer the phone when we need something. It starts here. Like, we hear from the citizens of Taney County. We've got to have a direct line with those. I feel like we have just an amazing relationship, with our people at the state level, and we do. I mean, we're up there for the governor's ball, and we walk through, they take us to their office. We call them with an issue, they answer the phone right now. So I really want to give kudos to you guys, because we do appreciate that. It means the world to us. To kind of back Sheriff up on the Narcan thing, so with the opioid settlement deal, Taney County did take part in that suit, and part of that suit is some of the pharmacies are going to pay with Narcan. So there will be an influx of that coming to the area, hopefully in the next few months, and hopefully we can get some information out to the general public to know where you can pick that up with some additional spots other than the Sheriff's Department, Health Department. Hopefully we can get that into the hospitals where people can walk in the emergency room area or wherever and pick that up. So that is part of their settlement. They didn't have money to pay it, so they're going to use Narcan as part of their settlement. Trying to think of anything else. The SB 190, we do appreciate you guys at the state level. They did some reform, fixed some of the problems we had there. We do have it implemented in Taney County now, so you can go to our Taney County Collector's Office, go in there, fill out your form, she'll get your property taxes froze for you. 2025 is a reassessment year, so it'd be a good time to go ahead and get that started. But go in, Mona is handling that, our Taney County Collector, she's handling application by application. She's very efficient with it. She should have all the information. She can look up your parcel numbers, get your homestead recorded, and get that taken care of for you. So she's there, she's available Monday through Friday, and we do have a drop box there, so if you're able to complete the form without help, there's a drop box right outside the collector's office, so you can just drop your form in there. It'll get processed. The commission will hear them every other week, and we'll get those processed and get them approved, entered into the record, and then that way we get your property taxes froze. The cutoff for that is June 30th for the 25 year, just for the simple fact of changing of the book, the assessment year and everything. So we do have to have a cutoff time, but I mean, you'll still be able to apply, it just won't be for 2024s, it'll be for 25s. So just anybody you know it's 62 and older, tell them get over there, get signed up. It doesn't cost you a thing. There has been a few instances where we've had to have people go up to the recorder's office and pull a deed, and it's costing $1 for a copy. So might be preferred to that if you have something that is recorded a little odd that you have to get a copy because there's statutes that the recorder has that do charge for the copies of that. So, but if there's something any of us can do to help you get a copy of that or help you look it up, Shane, myself, our staff is there to help with that, walk you through the process if anybody is needing any help on that. So, is there any questions for me at this time?
I would just add that the application is on the collector's website.
Yes.
Cool. They can download that and get it going.
Yeah, and I would go to the TaneyCountyCollector.org. Try not to go to the Taney County website and then try to find it. So if you just type in Taney County Collector, it'll take you directly to their page. Otherwise, you have to go through the paid tax process and then hit 2 or 3 sublinks to get you back over to the page where you can actually see the application. So, but yeah, so that's all I have for today. And like I said, looking forward to 2025.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I'm going to reiterate what Nick said for those of us that are over 62. You know, we have some assessor complications. Do this now, before things are reassessed. I don't know what's coming, no one knows what's coming, but if you're over 62, we should be hitting that door pretty quick and getting over there, getting on the internet and getting it done. I do it like next week or now.
Thank you, Representative Syed. Commissioner Keys.
Just want to say thanks again for the continued support going into this new role. As you can imagine, it's been kind of a hectic last couple of weeks. Still have some obligations fulfilling for subpoenas, still going to court on some cases, things like that. So I'm trying to battle that and learn my new schedule and things like that. So I probably have missed a couple of things in the last couple of weeks that we will be at in the future. So as we go forward, so still trying to learn that. But yeah, anything that you guys need, just come by if you're by the courthouse. Be glad to see everybody visit. So everything's going well. So
do you have anybody in your office to help you?
We do. Yes. So the current commission's been great. There's a lot to learn. First budget process, so a lot of questions and things like that. So been very receptive. So I appreciate that. Again, any questions? Please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. We got our county clerk, Stephanie Spencer.
I know we're over on time, so I'll try to be brief.
The main thing is we survived 24. In so doing, we've seen a lot of things that we need to reevaluate and change going forward. So our office is putting together a 4-year plan to get us ready for the next presidential election and subsequent, there's things we want to put in place before the April election and so forth. So we have sent out some surveys, we're getting some feedback on people's experiences at the polling place, in our office, and so forth. Big thing, January 28th is the last day for certification for the April election. That is for the cities, the fires, districts, the school districts. We've seen a couple of those come through. There's quite a few that, like we were talking earlier, don't have any opposition. We also have, by statute, in the April election, there's such a thing called a no election, which all that means is there's the fire districts, the school boards, the ambulance district, and the water districts. If there's equal number of candidates for open seats, they don't have to put that on the ballot. So they are elected by acclamation at the time of the election. So, but also by statute, we do print that in the paper about 2 weeks beforehand, the names of those people and the positions that they will be, that they will step into after the election. So we've seen a few of those come through also. We've only seen one tax at this point. We still have a week and a half to go. City of Branson is going to renew their tax.
No.
Sorry, slipped my mind, I'm sorry. But there's, they are looking at renewing that tax. Yes. Transportation. So, yes. I'll let you know. Sorry, I don't have that on me, but anyway. Aside of election stuff, we have so many clerk things that we're doing. I know we're over, so I'll just be quiet. Do you have any questions?
How many elections are there gonna be this year? Inside joke, guys.
That's a trick question, Mrs. Hurley. We're scheduled for one, the April, but there are also 2 other elections that can be called for in August and November. 2 years ago, same type of thing. We started out with just 1 election, but we ended up with 3. So we never know. Any
Thank you,
questions?
Stephanie.
Okay. And thank you for all of your support through 2024. We are so grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie, and I want to thank the state, county, and our federal when they come down. You guys have been so great coming to our meetings, helping inform the public. I mean, this goes out on Facebook Live, and then people can go back and look at it later and get valuable information like the Narcon information. I had no idea you guys had a drop box in the lobby, but unfortunately, Kurt, it is a sad situation. It's almost like, I know if I was a hotel manager now, I'd have to keep a couple on hand. I mean, that's just the nature of the business. Also want to thank Senator Hudson and Representative Seitz and Representative Ocasio. I went up Monday for the governor's ball and had no problem getting in and seeing these gentlemen. All of them were very hospitable, and it was really a fun experience going up there and getting to see the guys. I'm very happy with all of our officers everywhere, local and state and up. I think it's gonna be a great year, guys, and I'm gonna close it with that.
Julie mentioned her run.
Oh, yes, we got one more here to speak.
Just say, I'm running for Mayor Forsyth, you can do it, Stanley, from up there, I don't think anyone in here.
So Julie Audubon here, she is running for Mayor of Forsyth, and I will put a sub note on this. Her opponent ran for the Democrat 7th congressional spot. And that's really all I should need to say. We'll just go from there. I don't know Ms. Hesketh very well at all, met her a couple times, but
She's a terrible liberal.
Exactly.
And if you trusted me with the candidates that I've helped in this area before, trust me when I say we need to do everything we can to get Julie elected Mayor Forsyth. It's a mess over there. We need somebody in who's a conservative Republican to clean it up.
Any family, friends that live in Forsyth city limits, please reaffirm this to them, please. Guys, thank you all for coming out. Oh, I was going to text Shane the other day and ask how his first little emergency was with the snow. I want to thank the state and the county. You guys did a really good job, honestly. It was
Sleepless nights.
I stayed home the first day. I got 4-wheel drive stuff. I'm like, I ain't just had a snow day in a while.
Come to Jeff City, it's pitiful. Jeff City is just.
It is
pitiful.
terrible up there.
Yep.
Or was it?
Bad. Jeff
Jeff
City.
City is
City?
terrible.
Not good.
Yeah, including the Capitol grounds.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, thank God you only have to be up there half the year. That's-
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, wrong.
I had,
Rear because
for your FYI, county commissioners, I had a county truck blade our road the first time at 7:30 a.m. The second time was at 10:30 and they did 2 swipes. So by 10:30, we had our road hit 3 times. So that's not bad. We live in a little bubble that's called the county within the city of Branson, so.
And I also want to thank the clerk's office. I was an election judge and my wife was, both of us. We got your survey. We haven't got to turn back in. Stephanie has done a really great job of communicating to her helpers. And I'm just gonna be honest, wasn't always there, so Stephanie, we appreciate you. You're doing a great job. Guys, see you the 21st here in February. I can't, what's the first Friday of the month in February? The 5th? 7th, makes great sense.
21st.
That's right, coming from our commissioner over here, which is a mathematic whiz. He figured out the 7th will be our meeting over at Forsyth and Okaka from noon to 1. See, we got great people leading our county and our state. Guys, thank you. God bless you all. We'll see you next time.
Can I tell you also that we have a person that has been